give some information to all the staff and students in UTHM so that they can send to us all their electronic waste. So we got a lot of electronic products which they want to throw it out. So and then we collect it and then we call some company from, I think it's from Selangor, if I'm not mistaken. So they came here and then they bought all the waste, and we got some around, I think, several hundred ringgit, which was very good for our society, for the student society, so that they have some fun to run some program. So that was the first initiative that we started. So we think this is a very good, and we need to explore more, and then we need to understand more about e-waste. So and then for your information, this IEEE UTHM Student Branch is one of the student branch for IEEE. IEEE is a institute Institute for Electric and Electronic Engineers. In Malaysia, it's very big actually. IEEE is a global professional technical organization. So I think in the world, I think the member is more than 400,000. But in Malaysia, we have around 3,000, 4,000 of members in Malaysia. And then under that, we have this student branch in most of the public university in Malaysia. So UTHM we create this under UTHM Student Branch in 2017. So it's quite young compared to some other IEEE Student Branch in some other university. But this is very good. We have this society so that we can have a student to conduct all the program under this. They have the committee, and then they have some many. We can also get a fund actually from IEEE Malaysia, and then we collaborate with some other chapter. So like here we have a Power and Energy Society, Electron Device Society. So under IEEE itself, we have several divisions. So we can collaborate with all these division, and we call it chapter to have this kind of event. So we thank you very much, Ms. Mazriah, for your time, and we would like to listen to your sharing, and then we really hope this is going to be a fruitful event. So and also thank you to all the participants. I think we can see like we have 46 participants right now. And for your information, Ms. Mazriah, so the participant is not only from UTHM, we also distribute this information to our colleague, not only UTHM. We also have some students and lecturer from UTM as well joining us this morning. Okay, so that's all from me. Thanks again, and all the best for this program. Thank you, Asif.
Thank you, Prof. And once again, on behalf of IEEE UTHM Student Branch, we would like to congratulate for selecting as the Executive Committee member for Sensor and Nanotechnology Joint Council, Malaysia.
Welcome.
As for Power and Energy Society Celebration Day, we have two ambassadors from UTHM as our President, Umar Abu Bakar Saleh, and Vice President is Anis Suhali Bakri. So for having few words on IEEE Power and Energy Society, I would like to invite our President, Umar Abu Bakar Saleh, to have few words with us.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to join the clip by congratulating us for celebrating this day. And I would like to thank our advisor, Prof. Nafa, for always being there for us, to guide us, to be with us, and to show us the way. I would like to also thank our collaborating partners, the IEEE EDS and IEEE PES, for jointly coming together to host this program. Very importantly, I would like to thank our speaker all the way from the headquarters of the environmental to be with us despite her tight schedule. Presenter, you are welcome, Mr. Speaker. We hope we enjoy and benefit from you. IEEE PES this is a society that was formed a long time ago. It is under the IEEE, as Prof said. IEEE has so many branches, and PES is one of the branch of IEEE. It was formerly Power Engineering Society, which of course in April 22, 2008, it was changed from Power Engineering Society to Power and Energy Society. This PES, of course, the aim of it is advanced global participation and more power for the future. And when we talk of PES, we also talk about the sustainable energy and also the sustainable environment. And that is why we feel it is good to have a program that has to do with waste, so that we are going to clear the waste. And waste is not only the common waste we see, even electronic waste, they are waste, they contribute also to the climate change and global warming. So with this awareness campaign, we hope we are going to benefit from it and know what to do and what not to do, especially with our electronic waste. Because I'm sure after this program, we are going to have a day that we are going to collect all this waste and dispose it at the appropriate place, just as Prof. Nafa said. So today is the day set aside, of course, which is also April 22. The day the PS Day can be celebrated all through the April, but we choose 22nd April because of its stability, because of uniqueness. In the sense, it was a day that the Power Engineering Society was changed to Power Energy Society. I think with this few words of mine, I would like to thank you and to also thank all our partners that comes from across, not only UTHM. Thank you, you are all welcome. I hope we are going to benefit from this important and wonderful, timely program. Speaker Ma, you are welcome. Thank you. I would like to hand over back to the moderator.
Thank you, President Umar Abu Bakar Saleh. Now moving along with the time, I would like to mention and I would like to welcome you all for today's event on importance of e-waste. So as we know, the government of Malaysia with Department of Environment wants to ensure the safe, effective and economically beneficial management of e-waste and promoting non-commercial values and e-waste activities to dispose the e-waste at the licensed premises or the licensed sites. So for this, I would like to invite our guest speaker, Ms. Mazriah Binti Haji Abu Bakar, the Principal Assistant Director, Hazardous Substance Division, Department of Environment, Malaysia. She has obtained extensive knowledge and experience in this scheduled waste management over the past 15 years of working in the Department of Environment. She is a certified trainer and she has also included her areas of expertise in the waste identification and classification, waste characteristics, waste treatment and multilateral environment agreement, which are Basel Convention on the Control of Transboundary Movement of Hazardous Waste and Disposal. And she is also experienced in designing, reviewing, development, and updating the module for courses required by the officer and stakeholders to ensure the training provided with the department requirement. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Mazriah Binti Haji Abu Bakar to have the session knowledge with us.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. Can we share the slide? Okay, all right, thank you. So before I start, I would like to thank to UTHM for inviting the OE to give some explanation on the e-waste management in Malaysia. So, and it also happy to hear that UTHM had started campaign on e-waste collection, as now we are in the process of spread the awareness the public on the importance of e-waste management. And also I heard that today's the electronic sector celebrating something, which sorry, I cannot get the celebration name, but I also would like to inform that today is the Earth Day, where it's an annual event which we celebrate on the 22nd of April every year. Okay, so now my presentation will be on the household e-waste management in Malaysia. Okay, next, please. Okay, all right. So now, when we said about the e-waste, it's become a global issue. So the reason why it becomes a global issue now, because as we all know that all the electrical and electronic equipment is having a mass production, where every one of us have at least one, where such as handphone. So because of that, when it comes to the end of life of the equipment, then it becomes a mess of disposal. Then next. Okay. So why it become a global concern on the e-waste management? It's because of the tremendous growth. As I mentioned earlier, there's mass production, mass consumption of the electronic and electrical equipment, and then it once it become the obsolete or the end of life of it, then it becomes a mass disposal, where we need to take care of the disposal of this equipment. And then the electrical and electronic equipment also have high demands, and then because of we need to dispose it properly, then the cost of the disposal it become high. And then if we don't properly manage the e-waste, it become a risk to the human health and the environment. Okay, and next. Okay, so now apart from pose a risk to the human health and the environment, the e-waste itself is actually an activity which can sustain the natural resources, because in e-waste we know that it contains precious metal. It's also contain base metal which we need in order to produce a new equipment, such as the copper, aluminium, iron, and then precious metal and other material with high value. And then everyone globally talk about the circular economy. So we want to implement the concept of circular economy in the e-waste management, so that we are trying as much as possible to reduce the quantity of e-waste to be disposed. So based on the report published, it is estimated that 55 billion euro of metals can be produced from the e-waste. Okay, next. Okay, now this is the overview of e-waste management in Malaysia. Basically, we have two types of e-waste generation or e-waste source, where the first one is from the industries. So, and then the second one is from the household. And currently, as for the e-waste from the industry, we already have an established regulation, where we already enforce it since 2005. So it's kind of the stable. The management is already stable, but we have a problem with the e-waste from the household, as the source of the e-waste is scattered all around the country. So e-waste, and then what we need to do with the e-waste, basically the e-waste need to be sent to the partial recovery or the full recovery. The partial recovery and the full recovery is actually the facility that licensed by DOE. to manage and to process the e-waste. Why we have two types of license. The first one, which is the partial recovery, is actually they are doing the physical process where they just dismantling the e-waste, and then they will segregate between the e-waste, which is the PCB or any waste that contain hazardous material, and also they will segregate the plastic, the metal itself. And then the full recovery is actually they are doing the extraction of the metal or precious metal inside the e-waste. Basically, the process that they install is either the hydrometallurgy or the pyrometallurgy. And then whatever residue that generate from the partial recovery and the full recovery will be sent to the integrated final treatment and disposal facility, where currently in Peninsula we only have one in Bukit Nanas, Negeri Sembilan. Okay, next. Okay, this is the current situation of the e-waste management in Malaysia. Basically what the facility interested is they only identifying the metals, the whatever the recyclable or economically for them to process and in order to produce the product. The item that they interested is actually the printed circuit board, the heat exchanger and compressor, where they want the metal, and also they want the coil. These are the waste that contain the precious metal and also metals that can economically to be processed. However, once they segregate these four few items which they want, they will the other product or waste that they generate from the process will be improperly handled. Such as lithium battery, which they segregate from the laptop, and then the CRT, the cathode tube from the personal computer, which the old types, and then the mercury backlight, and then the compressor. So these are the materials that need to be properly handled. However, in Malaysia, we still lack of some areas which we have a lack in the proper management of e-waste, where some people they still send it to the informal sector, which are not registered with DOE, and also the illegal recycler. And then we also face a problem with the importation of e-waste from outside Malaysia. And then next. Okay. Why this e-waste become a critical issue? Because the e-waste, it can pose high risk to the human health and the environment. So because if it's not been collected, processed in environmentally sound manner, the hazardous material will leach out to the environment. Even though we said that the e-waste collected from our household will be sent to the sanitary landfill, but we need to remember that our sanitary landfill is designed to receive our domestic waste from our kitchen, but it's not designed to dispose of the e-waste or any hazardous material or any hazardous waste. So now, as the current practice in Malaysia, the consumer will send to the illegal dumping, And also the consumer will send to the private collectors which are not registered or licensed by DOE, and they will also send it to the unauthorized recipients, and also to the illegal recovery facility. Okay, next. Okay. Based on the current scenario, DOE have conduct a few projects with the collaboration with JICA. So we found that there are three angles, the gaps, which is the generation, where the generation of household e-waste is scattered around the country, as compared to the e-waste that generate from the industry. They concentrate at industrial estate, and the industrial, they will operate at the designated area, but for household it can be anywhere. And then we also found that there is a gaps on the collection and transportation, where there are some areas or some items which are not feasible to be collect and to transport, such as the rural area. If they collect at the rural area, our facilities is not at that particular area, so it becomes cost for the collection and transportation. And then we also have gaps for the recycling process or recycling technology, where for the e-waste, we require high investment on the machinery, equipment, and environmental protection. And there are some of household e-waste has a low value of recyclable material. For example, if we look at the washing machine, washing machine, basically it doesn't contain much heavy metal, but the process require high investment, so there is gaps there, so that make people's difficult to invest. And then also the mindset of people. I mean, what we mean by the mindset of people, when we say, because e-waste, household e-waste, we deal with the household public. So in Malaysia, I would say that we quite reluctant to send our waste to the recycling center, but we are more tend to dispose it just like other domestic waste. Okay, next. Okay. Now we talk about the regulation. As I mentioned earlier, there are two sources of e-waste, one from the industry and one from the household. As for the regulation, from the industry, we already have one specific regulation under the Environmental Quality Act, which is Environmental Quality Schedule Waste Regulation 2005, that came into force on the 15th August 2005. So under this regulation, we have one specific code, which is SW110, where it's specifically for the e-waste. And then for the household e-waste, basically we don't have a specific regulation to manage the household e-waste. However, at current practice, we still will use the SW11 code to manage the household e-waste. And we are in the process of drafting a specific regulation for the household e-waste. And then as for the management, the e-waste from the industry, the waste generator, which is the industry, they shall submit their e-waste to the prescribed premises or licensed facility by DOE, where they will manage the e-waste in environmentally sound manner, or ESM. And however, for the household e-waste, currently the e-waste will end up at the informal sector or landfill, which this practice will pose health and environment hazard to human, livestock, and ecology if it's not been properly managed. Right, next. Okay, these are the 6 items, the control item under our household e-waste mechanism. Where the first one is the television, personal, and then the second one is the personal computer, and then washing machine, air conditioner, refrigerator, and handphone. Why we only select these 6 items? Because this is what the other country practice. Our selection is based on the studies that we conducted, and we already made a comparison with other countries' practice, and most of the countries manage or control these 6 items only. Okay, and then next. Okay, these are the issue on the e-waste management, where we need to have the inventory database on the mechanism for regular data renewal, and where we need to establish mechanism of data collection from the relevant stakeholder. This database will be including future e-waste generation and e-waste collected and recycled. And then we also need to identify on current condition of e-waste recycling. As of now, we have 23 recycling facility that are capable to receive all the e-waste from the household. However, not all the 23 can receive all the 6 items. Most of them can only receive the handphone and also the personal computer or laptop. But the other 4, we only have 2 or 3 facilities only can receive. So we have a gaps there in order for us to make sure that all the e-waste generated from the household can be managed in ESM. And then it's a task for us also to identify the current household e-waste flow. Basically, we have completed the identification process. We already identified that in the previous year, we would say that all the e-waste from the household, especially the 4 items, television, refrigerator, aircon, and washing machine, most of them are sent to the informal sector, which are not registered by DOE. And then we need to develop a tools for raising awareness of citizens on household e-waste recycling. This is continuous activities, continuous program and campaign that we conduct every year. And as last month, we already launched apps to help the public to identify and navigate them to the nearest collection center. And so for this awareness also, we would like to invite all the organization, the community to take part on the on our e-waste campaign. And we also need to conduct a stakeholder consultation to build a common understanding on this mechanism. The stakeholder will be the manufacturer, the importer, the retailer, the collection center, the consumer itself, and also the recovery facility. Okay, next. Next. Okay. These are the our proposed mechanism, where the household e-waste, which start from we ourselves, from the household, it will be when we said the household means that it will consist of household, commercial, institution, industries which have the 6 items that I mentioned earlier. So we want this mechanism to be effective for the collection and recycling system, and then effective institutional and legal framework, policy and guideline. These are the one that I mentioned, that we are in the process of drafting the regulation. And this mechanism, we want that it can minimize the adverse effect caused by the improper handling, because we already said that all the e-waste shall be sent to the registered collectors. So we hope that when we implement this mechanism, there will be no illegal or improper facility. And then we want to formalize the system on the household e-waste management. So if you look at the diagram, what we want is from the household e-waste generator, the e-waste will be sent to the authorized collectors and collection center, and then or it can be send it to the authorized retailer, meaning that the retailers shall be ready to receive e-waste which sent by the consumer. So, and the retailer need to register with us. And then from these collectors and retailer, they need to send the waste to the authorized licensed facility for the recovery process, and also for the disposal. And the transportation from the collectors, collection center and the retailer shall be licensed by DOE, which actually these are the same as the license holder is the same as the facility. Okay, all right, next. Okay, these are the legal framework for the household e-waste management in Malaysia. Our strategy is we want to implement the EPR concept, extended producer responsibilities, and also we want to implement the shared responsibilities. When we say shared responsibilities, means that all the stakeholders involved in the e-waste management shall play their role. This including ourselves lah. And then as for the EPR or extended producer responsibility, we want the producer of the electrical and electronic appliances or equipment have the responsibility to ensure that the e-waste after the end of life will be managed properly. And then under this framework also, there are 3 important things which are the e-waste flow, the fee flow, and the reporting flow. So in order to support the implementation of the EPR, we need to have all this data on the e-waste, the fee, and the reporting. And then all this legal framework is actually our objective is towards a green loop recycling in managing our e-waste in Malaysia. Okay, next. Okay. These are the entire system for the e-waste management in Malaysia. It will start from the manufacturer and the importers. If you look at the black line, the fee payment, any in our draft regulation will impose some fee which we will call it as a recycling fee or deposit, where the manufacturer and importers need to pay the fee for recycling. And then this fee will be paid to the body which govern under the Department of Environment. And then we also will look into the online purchase. How the fee will be paid for the equipment that purchased online. And then we look, once the electrical and electronic equipment become obsolete or achieve the end of life, it will become e-waste. So the consumer need to send the e-waste to the authorized collectors, and then the authorized and the collection center and also the retailer, they will fill manifest form to report on the e-waste that they receive. This report will be sent to the Department of Environment, and also then the e-waste that they collect, they need to send it to the licensed recovery facility. Then this will also tracked by the manifest system. And the same manifest system which issued by the licensed facility will be submit one copy to the DOE. We have a custom department there. This is to supply data on the importation. Okay. All right. Next. Okay. So these are the stakeholder responsibility for the e-waste management. Basically, we have 5 stakeholders. We have manufacturer and importers, we have retailers, we have consumers, and then collection center, and the last one we have a recovery facility. So what are the responsibility of these 5 stakeholders? For the manufacturers and importers, they need to be registered with our DG, Department of Environment, and then the manufacturer and the importers, they need to pay recycling fee according to their put on market volume of the electrical and electronic appliances or equipment. And then they need to provide the information to the OE on the how to dismantle their products at the end of life, and then the location of hazardous substances or items within the products. And then for the retailers, their responsibilities, they have to receive the e-waste from consumer when they are asked. For example, now we have Sengheng, we have TBM for to who are the retailers that are registered with us to receive the e-waste from the consumer. And then as for the retailers, they need to ensure that e-waste that they receive are channeled only to the authorized retailer or collection center or the licensed recovery facility. And then for the consumers and users or the waste generator, for this context, the user is the waste generator. They have to ensure that the e-waste generated are channeled only to the authorized retailers or the collection center, or they can also send it directly to the licensed e-waste recovery facility. However, based on the feedback that we receive, the facility will only receive the e-waste from the collection center, meaning that they are not willing to deal directly to the person. And then the fourth one is the collection center. The collection center, they need to comply with the e-waste storage requirement, because e-waste is a scheduled waste. So we have a published guideline for the storage of scheduled waste. So the collection center required to comply with it, with all the requirements such as the labeling, the inventory, the area, the collection, the design of storage area, And then the collection center are required to record and report the quantity of e-waste collected. And this report, they need to submit to DOE because we want to implement the recycling fee, the subsidy to the recovery facility. So we need to sure that how many e-waste or how much e-waste that been collected, so that we can disperse the subsidy to the recovery facility. And then to ensure that e-waste collected are channeled only to licensed e-waste recovery facility. As for the recovery facility, they have to recycle e-waste in an environmentally sound manner in accordance with the legal requirement. And then they need to submit a report on the recovery process. Okay, I think that's all. Okay, next. Okay, that's all. So that is our tagline, e-waste di kita, bumi terpelihara. And now for this year, we are road to 800 metric ton e-waste collected. This is our KPI for this year. So we welcome UTHM to participate in our program so that we can achieve our target. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mazriah Abu Bakar. And as our guest speaker for briefing us on the uncontrolled disposal in shape of e-waste and which contain with the toxic substances and heavy metals. Thank you again for briefing us the e-waste management issues and the facilities and the compensation that are dealing by the government of Malaysia with the Department of Environment. Now I would like to invite the participants if they have any question with our guest speaker.
I think there is also a question on the chat box.
Yeah, all right. Thank you to the chairperson, Asif, and good morning, Puan Mazriah. My name is Sun from UTHM. So as I observed overseas, let's say in the place that I studied before, in the United Kingdom, they have very good collection facilities for all the e-waste. For example, batteries. In the university itself, there's a collection center for batteries itself. At the Union Center, there's one container for you to throw your batteries. In various corners, there are collection points for those waste. Currently, there's none that I observe. In university or outside or in my house, in my household area, we find it difficult to dispose like batteries, small items, electronic items. So I think we need to work with Majlis Bandaran more closely to prepare another container in a taman, in a garden, or just like our household waste, another tong for our e-waste or on the street maybe. If you don't want too many waste bin, then just have a few bins for e-waste. I think we really need that for a domestic user like us to throw our small electronic items. Yeah. So I wonder if your department is working with Majlis Perbandaran, to have this kind of things to include in your framework. Yeah, thank you.
All right, okay, thank you, Miss Sun.
Yeah, my name is
right. Okay, all right. So thank you for your questions. Yeah, actually, we work closely with the Majlis. However, as of now, we don't have gazetted regulation for the household e-waste. It's still in drafting stage, but states like Penang and Selangor, they do it voluntarily. And also we have this we already launched an apps for the public to find the nearest collection center. And we also this year, last year and this year, we also target to have set a target to increase the numbers of collection center. Because based on our 10 years experience, when we do the studies on the e-waste management in Malaysia or e-waste practice in Malaysia, we find that the most critical issues is the collection. So if we want to have a good mechanism for the e-waste, we need to focus on the collection. So because of that, when we do mapping on our registered collector, we notice that we have areas, we have problems with some areas like East Coast. We have very few numbers of collection center, and also on the at the southern also we have problems, not many. And then of course Sabah and Sarawak, we obviously we have problem with that.
Right.
But the problem is not many people wants to become the collectors. Yes, so that's why our approach now is we will work together with the retailer hypermarket where the public likes to go. I agree with you that we need to increase more on the collection center activities.
Yes, like not just center collection points in small area.
Yeah, points with basically for the Klang Valley we have like 1,000 points. Most of it managed by the NGO.
Correct. The Buddhist Association, they're doing very well.
Yes, exactly.
They organize, I'll throw all my waste clothes or waste fabric to them, in one bundle. I think that's a good act lah.
Yes.
We need to do more on that now. I think we're not doing enough.
Yeah. And also moving forwards, MCMC will also join our campaign because if you all can remember, MCMC has launched the mobile e-waste campaign.
No idea. Whatever you all do in Putrajaya or
but it's under multimedia commission. So they have launched the mobile e-waste where it's focused on the handphone and the tabs of all those things, which is part of our 6 items. So they have come forward and join our campaign, and maybe later sooner we will have points in the rural area or the southern part, the east coast and the northern part, because they will look into the pusat community, something that internet, something that they have in the kampung-kampung, right? So MCMC will look into it, and we also propose for them, instead of you only receive the 2 items, why don't you also include the another 4 items, so that our network will become bigger, then easy for the public to send their e-waste.
Correct. Okay, thank you very much. I wish you all the best. Looking forward to that implementation. All right. Okay, thank you.
Dear guest speaker, we have one more question in the chat box. That is about what is your opinion regarding the disposal of e-waste?
Oh, okay. As for the I think in my presentation I mentioned that one of the gaps that we have in e-waste, household e-waste management is the technology. As for the disposal, I would say that now we can notice that the awareness of the e-waste management among the public has increased. As this is obvious based on the data that we collect, e-waste collected. of course the disposal of e-waste is not the first option. We want to implement the circular economy for the e-waste management. So disposal will be the last option. But as I mentioned earlier, we already have 23 facility which can process, which can recover the precious metal inside the e-waste. It's just the only problem that we face is not all the 23 facility that we license can manage all the 6 items. They are more focused on the handphone and the laptop. Because these two equipments or these two types of e-waste, they contain precious metal which is more valuable. So when we said that recovery process, of course their intention is to extract the precious metal inside the e-waste. Currently, we do have the technology because we already licensed the facility, but the disposal will be the last option, or the residue from the process recovery, only we opt for the disposal. Okay.
Audience, anyone have any other query?
Assalamualaikum, Puan Mazriah.
Yeah.
My name is Zahara and I'm from UTM Johor Bahru. I have a question. I am interested in doing innovation from electronic waste. I would like to ask your opinion on is it advisable for us to dismantle the electronic waste, because as we know that, for example, the mobile phone, we have some part that is dangerous and some part that can be reusable. So is it okay for us to dismantle the e-waste, and then we take the part that can still be used, and then we innovate something from it? Just would like to ask your opinion about it. Thank you.
May I know what type of innovation that you are interested?
For example, okay, for large electrical appliance like our refrigerator, so we have like tempat macam where we macam dia punya tray, the plastic tray, maybe we can tempat those we put the eggs tray kan. Maybe we can do something like a casing for a stationery or something.
Okay,
the small part that the simple part.
Okay. For the whether is it advisable to the dismantling of the e-waste? Of course, we are not advise you to dismantle the e-waste, because if you mentioned that you are focused on the you're interested in for the refrigerator, right? For like the egg tray or those things. Among the 6 items, the most e-waste that we worry when people do the dismantling on their own is the aircon and the refrigerator, because these two e-waste, they contain refrigerant. So that's why we don't allow even the collectors itself, they cannot dismantle the e-waste. Only the licensed facility can dismantle the e-waste, because the recovery facility, they have the equipment, they have the pollution control to manage whatever pollution that can be generated from the dismantling process. If we talk about the air conditioner and the refrigerator, we don't want this refrigerant to be emitted to the air.
But if we take just the like the small part, like the plastic, from the tray, and then from for example the mobile phone, the casing of the mobile phone, is that okay?
If but the plastic from the refrigerator, you don't need to dismantle
You're not
it, right?
dismantling yang bahagian-bahagian belakang lah.
Then shouldn't be a problem. But our worry is if you do a massive dismantling, then it become a hazard. It can pose hazard to the environment.
All right, okay, thank you.
Any other question from the audience?
Mazriah,
Right.
thank you for the very informative talk. We hope
I
we
have
can
one question?
collaborate with you further after this.
Can I have one question?
Hello, you hear me? My name is Jamil. I am from UTHM. I would like to ask regarding the collaboration. Do you have a collaboration with the radiation agency in Malaysia? That in case there is some of the toxic having some radiation, how you can protect the people that working on this facility from exposed to some radiation due to the coming from the toxics? Thank you.
All right, thank you for the questions. So far, as for the, we have conducted few engagement with the government agency, state agency on the e-waste management, but we don't have a specific collaboration on the radiation issues.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, can I have one question, please?
Yes.
Yes, I would like to know regarding on the microplastics. Okay, so some are using microplastics inside the tarmac and also those kind of in name of the recycle. So is it this particular in a very long term is going to cause another new hazards? So this is my question. Thank you.
Right, thank you for the questions. As for the microplastic, okay, Malaysia is a party to the Basel Convention. We are actively involved in the discussion at the international level, and microplastic is one of the issues that been discussed since year 2012. If I'm not mistaken. The first paper issued at the Basel Convention 2012, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, microplastic will become another issues or hazard materials in future. It's new emerging pollutants to the environment. And however, when we talk about the electrical and electronic equipments, the plastic, our concern is not only the microplastic, but also on the content of the flame retardant inside the plastic, which is more dangerous. Because when we say flame retardant, it might contain the persistent organic pollutants because it's halogenated, right? And it's governed under the Stockholm Convention. These are the more dangerous, as it will it's very persistent. It's difficult to degrade, and it will stay in the environment. So if we talk about the plastic for the e-waste, I think these are the more hazard to think of. Of course, the microplastic is is another hazard material.
Masih tak ada kan?
Is that answer your questions?
Yeah, I think, madam, you Madam is agreeing on my part,
Yes.
which is microplastic is it might or it is having a high possibility to cause a hazard in future. But
Yes.
what is my question, or I would like to know in more detail, what is the steps that we are doing towards these particular things, because people are using microplastics in the recycle in the name of recycle, and they are introducing in the tarmac, they are also introducing in the agricultures and so on. So what is the direction that Malaysia or is taking on these particular issues?
Okay. For if you want to know more on the future steps to be taken in the future for the microplastic, I think I'm not the right person to answer you, as this is under the jurisdictions of the National Solid Waste JPSPN or our KPKT, Kementerian Perumahan, Housing, Ministry of Housing.
Okay, thank you so much for the answer, madam.
Thank you again, Miss Mazriah. And I would like to ask if someone have still any question. If not, then we can wrap our session.
Yeah, I have one question regarding the source of the waste. How, if, say, for example, if I have a factory and I want to dispose some of the toxics in any way or the other, if
Jamil, we cannot hear your voice.
Oh, sorry. Okay, can I repeat the question?
Yes.
Okay, if, say, for example, there is some importer who bring some waste also from overseas, so that after he can pass it in order to dispose this waste in Malaysia. So, and against some money. So how you can trace this waste which is given in some collector centers? Is there any system that you make to trace the factory who bring this toxic into these collection areas?
Okay. All right. So I repeat your questions. You are asking if the factory wants to dispose the toxic waste, but the waste is actually bring from the overseas. Right.
Yes.
Okay. First, if we talk about the toxic waste or hazardous waste, or in Malaysia we use as a scheduled waste, it is governed under the Basel Convention, where any movement of hazardous waste between countries shall follow the procedure set under the Basel Convention, where they use the prior informed consent procedure, meaning that the exporting country need to notify the importing country. So for Malaysia, we have put our stand that we don't allow we prohibit any importation of scheduled waste or hazardous waste into the country for the purpose of disposal or for the purpose of recovery. We only allow the importation of scheduled waste for the purpose of reuse as alternative raw materials. Means that the waste cannot be found in Malaysia or is not enough in Malaysia, and they need the waste to be directly used as an alternative raw materials. There's no pre-treatment required, nothing required, directly put inside the process. So coming back to your questions, that if the waste bring from the overseas, of course we don't allow. If we found that they have import illegally, basically the custom will notify DOE and we will detain the container and we will ask them to send back. As of now we have
And some of the industries, sometimes they throw it to the rivers. But when there is some collection place, they may go and send it there. How to trace after who is the the factory or the person who put these toxics there?
Okay. Basically, because basically DOE we have for scheduled waste, we have this online system where we call electronic scheduled waste information system, eSWIS, to for the factory to notify, and we will monitor the movement of hazardous waste from the factory to the licensed facility. The only thing that we cannot monitor is if they do it illegally. So when we do the investigation, of course, we will check, we will conduct all our SOPs for the investigation. But as I mentioned, if they do it illegally or they notify wrongly, then it's quite difficult for us to track and to monitor. But if they are found to be guilty, we can take action on them under Section 34B of the EQA, Environmental Quality Act 1974, where the penalty will be imprisonment, maximum 5 years, and the fine to the maximum of 500,000.
Okay, but do you have a system to trace back?
Yes, we have the system to monitor.
Okay.
And now we are in the process of implementing the waste characteristic. Means that the factory, they need to analyze the waste that they generate, and then they need to declare in the system. So when we found any illegal dumping, the one that you mentioned is actually we categorize as illegal dumping. We hope that in future we can trace the composition and we can compare on the data that we have on the system.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamil, and thank you, Speaker Mazriah Abu Bakar, for briefing us on the green recycling system and for briefing us for the detail of the e-waste management under your supervision.